Hello folks, so I've been meaning to give Groq a test drive for a while now. Basically they were I'd heard about it a lot on Twitter, and basically it's an LPU inference engine. So in comparison to CPUs and GPUs, which have been used for LLMs before, GPUs more lately, they're basically a lot more efficient in processing different LLM models. And you can actually, in Groq, you can actually choose any of one of these models, and then you can chat with the model, and it's lightning fast. So just to give you an idea, if it just ask us any of these questions or any of the questions that you're used to asking Chat GPT, just ask a question and see how blazingly fast it is. And it actually lays a lot of emphasis on speed. So the low latency is really helpful, and you can actually, especially in instances in like chat applications and other places where like latency, for example, even like calls, because people are doing AI calls now as well. So it's really important that in applications where latency is really important, you can actually really benefit from using a really fast low latency engine. So when I went to the official documentation, I saw that there was an option for curl, there was an option for JavaScript, there was an option for Python, and there was also JSON option. There was no option for Laravel as such, which is kind of not cool. So there is an option though, but it's not there. It's not there officially. So I just went around because I wanted to test this, and I wanted to test this with Laravel. So I went looking, and I found a solution which I'll share with you now, and we'll be setting this up in a way that we can actually use it as an API. And I'll just do Laravel new. And for those of you who are familiar with doing some, like for example Laravel new Groq, you actually need the latest version of Laravel installer, and if you don't have it, you can simply go to I'm sure you have it in your system and you are pretty used to doing Laravel new, but the version might be out of date. So you can actually just go to the Laravel 11 installation link and just use the same command again, and it will actually update the global Laravel installer, and after that you should be able to do Laravel new. If you do that without it, of course you'll get an error. So if you're using an old version, you can always do Laravel new Groq, but this actually gives you more options, and this actually has step-by-step questions, and you can actually set up things the way you want them to be. So we will do Groq new, no starter kit, since it's going to be an API, pest, and initialize a Git repository, and it's now going to install a new Laravel. It's going to install Laravel all anew, and we'll see. Meanwhile, I think maybe we can, while it does its thing, we can actually go around different stuff. So there are, again, just like I said, I think we might as well use some of this. I'm actually going to post this to a public repo as well, so you guys can later on, kind of just access it from there and just see how things are set up. And I think that's also going to help you along the way while trying to work with Groq. So there's this. There are these different Python examples. I'll not go through these because we're going to do Laravel. Then there is like this showcase applications. So you can actually, if you're using something else, you can actually go through different one of these, and you can actually see how other people have used it and how this is helpful, and which use cases it is most suitable for. So chat completions, that's basically the feature that we are also going to use. And then API keys, it'll give you, API keys here. So we have this area here. So you can go to console.groq.com/keys. It's difficult finding it otherwise, but yeah, you can go to it'll. I think it'll, in the from the documentation, it brings you to the playground, and then you can spot that there's the API keys, and the process is really simple. You can just name the key and submit, and it'll create a key like this for you. I've already one copied. Remember, once you've generated this, you cannot copy it again. So just copy it when you have generated, when you're generating it, and then after that, you'll only be able to just see it like this. You won't be able to kind of you can just, even when you click on edit, you can just see the name and not the API key as such. So the installation is pretty close, and now it's asking us which database it wants us to use. And I'm actually a big fan of Postgres, and who knows, further down the line we might want to try RAG or something. And but yeah, we'll just go with Postgres, and then default database update. Would you like to run the default database migrations? Yes. Okay, there you go. And we'll just go to Groq new. We'll take care of the the Postgres side here. And so first of all, we'll go to the env, and we'll see we have PDSQL 5432, Groq new, and root. So this looks fine, and this should be working. But we need to kind of, run the application. I know there are simpler ways, but I personally prefer Laravel Sail. So we're going to go to Laravel Sail documentation, and we're going to follow things from there. And let's install Laravel Sail. You can do it here. You can do it in VS Code. I think let's do it from VS Code from here on. Okay. And all right, and Laravel Sail is installed, and we can do Laravel Sail install. And let's go to okay, and we'll install PDSQL. Oops. Okay, this is going to take some time. So only pull PDSQL. You can actually pull other services as well, and they can be beneficial, but we'll probably pull something in if we need it further down the line. So right now we're only interested in PDSQL because that's what we have selected. So this is going to add the Docker Compose file, and it's also going to update the these credentials. That's why I said don't worry about the database, because we're going to take care of that in during the Sail installation. So just to keep things simpler and not get into debugging something that's going to be fixed later anyways. So yeah, this is going to take its time, and I don't know where to go next. So this is it. Let's probably wait it out and see as soon as it's on. But maybe, yeah, there's nothing really important in the documentation. As long as you have the Groq API key, you can actually use it anywhere. You can go to the playground and you can actually test it. There's a Discord community, so you can join the Discord community and you can ask any questions. You can also actually directly chat with the docs as well. So let's ask the docs this question and see if they have this answer. So the Groq chat cloud is basically powered by Mixtral. That's one of the other models. So you can Groq using Python, although we're not going to use that. But yeah, and it's not. Yeah, so that's the answer, that it's it's generating. So you can, how can I get started with Groq using? Let's ask it the same for Laravel actually, and see if this has, if they have an answer for us. So yeah. Okay, yeah, looks like there is an option, and it's suggesting that we do it through Guzzle. All right, so you can probably do it through Guzzle. You can also do, I mean, you can also use the HTTP facade and stuff. But I actually like to use a package where I can, because the implementation is a lot simpler. We can actually go down this path as well, but what I tend to do is I tend to use a package for everything, and basically the PHP community is the Laravel community is actually, it's they're really helpful, and they normally have a package for literally everything. So same is the case for Groq, and they have a package here which we can actually install. So while Sail is being installed, I think we can probably get away with installing it in another window. Okay, another terminal window. So let's see. Okay. So let's do that, and that'll actually give us, that'll actually do the installation for us, Groq PHP. Okay, then we'll go to the env and we'll add the Groq API key. Okay, so I'll add the key later, because that's going to be I can't share that, so I'll not be doing that right now, but yeah, I'll do it behind the scenes, and let's come back after that. Okay, so coming back, Sail is still building, and it's going to take some time. So what we're going to do is we are going to, since we've done the installation for the package, we'll go to the documentation, see if there's anything else that we need to do. And there is a usage that you can, now you can actually directly use this in your controller, and I wouldn't blame you if you do that, but I think there is this is kind of like the PHP way of doing things. So just to tailor it to Laravel and kind of make things a little more organized, we are going to add in the app. We are going to add another. We're going to add a services folder, and since you cannot like make a services class from the command line, I think we'll do a Groq service.php, and so we'll add this here, and then we'll go to the service in question, and we'll start with PHP, and then we'll declare the namespace, app services, and then okay. Then what we'll do is okay. Now I didn't want this bit. Okay, so we're going to add a public function here, and the function is going to be chat, and we're going to take in request. Okay, request, and then we are going to do Groq is equal to okay, so we are going to actually so we are going to we're going to import this, and we're going to say new Groq, and new Groq, and we are going to do so before we do that, Groq.api key, yeah, that looks good. So we actually are going to go to the config folder, and there we're going to add another file, Groq.php. So this is going to be basically a config file. It's just returning an array, and we are going to return. We are going to add the API key, and we are going to say that's equal to the env Groq API key. All right, and we are we're also going to select a model, since if you come here, you'll see that it's using the Mixtral 8x7b 32768 by default. So we're going to do that. Groq model, that looks good, and let's just give it a fallback value, and we'll just copy this over. So we'll just give it a fallback value like this, and then we are going to do probably a default role, and we are going to make it user. Okay, so this is going to help us basically organize things a bit. And so so Groq, new Groq config Groq API key, and then from there we are going to do we're going to do chat completions. You can call it anything, basically. And that's going to be Groq chat completions request input text. No. So we are going to use Groq. We're going to use Groq chat completions, and then we are going to say create. Actually, we can copy all of this over as well. I think we are just putting ourselves in undue labor. So let's just copy everything over and put it here. I was looking at it on the other system, but yeah, let's do it like this. Okay. So this is basically different. I think we need to have a slightly different import. All right. I think yes, that's basically what it is. So remember, in the documentation, it's like Luciano Tonant Groq, but you need to actually use Luciano Tonant /Groq PHP /Groq, and that's basically what you're supposed to use. Okay, so we are picking up the Groq from Groq API key, and chat completions, Groq chat completions create model, and so we are again going to replace this with a config value. So we are going to say config and Groq.model. So chat GPT, GitHub Copilot actually picks it up. All right, for the role, we are also going to use config, and we're going to use Groq default role and content. So content is going to be, of course, it's going to come from request. So we are not going to, use this one. And I think in the request, we'll send a question like this. So now this was, I don't know, this is basically meant for, this is not the way for the really the API to work. So what we'll do is we'll do return response. No, so we'll do return response JSON, and then we'll return an array, and we'll say, let's say answer. So, and we are going to paste what we picked from here. And since it's an array, it's not going to have the semicolon. All right, I think we are looking pretty good. So we have put together a Groq service where you can actually, there's a public function called chat, and so the Groq config, so it's going to initiate a new Groq instance, and this is going to use the API key from the config, which in turn is going to point to the API key in the env, and it's also going to pick up the model, and it's also going to pick up the default role from the config as well. So we have a service here that we can easily use. So we are going to use PHP artisan make controller hyphen make controller, let's call it a chat controller hyphen API and hyphen invocable, or you can also do hyphen I. So yeah, we have this controller here, and there is only one invocable. I think we shouldn't have done this API because there's only one option here. So going back, I believe now it's ready. So let's just do. I have these shortcuts that some of you who have been seeing my videos, they are aware of. So I have these aliases. So I'll do SA migrate. So that's basically Sail artisan migrate. Fresh, and yeah, let's do fresh maybe. Okay, yeah, sorry. So we need to do sud before. So that's basically going to bring it up and bring it to an up and running state. We'll go to Docker just to double check, although we don't need to, but just to show you that it's working. Let's go to Docker, and as you can see, Groq new is live and kicking here, and it's using, I don't know why it's also using MySQL, by the way. I don't know. I think it was not selected, but then somehow, I don't know. So I'll just get rid of this, and I think PDSQL is where is what we want to do, and I'll just go to the env to make sure that it's called the PDSQL values and not MySQL. So yeah, PDSQL is there. I think this was the first time around that we were trying. It just raised that service, but yeah, anyways. So we'll go to localhost, and we'll see that our project is live and kicking, but it's all right. So yeah, probably we need to run the install command again. Okay, and we'll get rid of MySQL, and we'll do PDSQL, and because we already have the image, I don't think it should take that long. Don't know why it's pulling. Yeah, okay, it's pulled already, and it's building now. Perfect. So let's do a sud, and let's see. Very well. It's still doing the MySQL thing. I don't know why that is, but yeah, MySQL, that's there. So I'll just probably get rid of it from here. Sorry for the whole confusion. I don't know why it happened like this. Yeah, I think this is going to be good now. So we'll do SA migrate and see if everything works now. Hopefully it does. Okay, MySQL again, the same issue. Okay, yeah, so it was supposed to be PGSQL. I think somehow in the process this couldn't be, this wasn't updated. So yeah, we'll just try once more. And yeah, the migrations are running. Sorry for the whole trouble, but yeah, I think we're good now. And let's go back and let's just refresh, and we should see our Laravel screen. Yeah, there we are. So I think we're good as far as this is concerned, and we have this service. We have set up the service meanwhile, and we have placed everything in a config file, so that we can also cache the config and everything. And it's not a good practice anyways to use everything from the env. So I always tend to create a config file and put everything there. So let's go back to our chat controller, and before we do that, we also actually need to install the API. So I think if I'm not forgetting, for Laravel 11 you actually need to do SA install API. So that'll actually install all the goodies related to API stuff. For example, it'll install Sanctum, it'll add an api.php file and stuff like that. So that's basically essential. Before we move on to any API stuff, we need to do that. Okay, while it does its thing, I think we can get to this, and we can actually say we can actually start with a protected Groq service. Groq service. Yeah, this looks good. Sorry, we actually need to do it outside all of this, and then we have the we need to put together a constructor, and okay, Chat GPT picks it up. So Groq service, this Groq service is equal to Groq service. That also looks good. And so now when we go here, we can do response, and we can do this Groq service request input. Okay, so request input, instead of request input message, I'm going to use request question, or actually you can also use request directly. So we're going to use the request directly, and when it goes to the service, the request is going to be request question. So then we're going to pick the question from here. We can actually do, request question here, and then you get the idea. But yeah, this is how we're going to do it. So response this Groq service chat request, and then all we need to do is we just need to return the response. So return response, and I think that should get us sorted. One new published, you want to run all the pending database migrations? Of course I do. So yeah, there you go. All right, so I think we should be good here. So So now, yeah, of course we need to add a route, and let's just get rid of this, and we'll do a route, and we'll use post, and we'll use slash chat, and I'll actually do it in the good old chat controller class invoke. I think that's my favorite way of doing it. So I think we are good here. The chat controller has been imported. Our request is no longer needed. We might as well need it later, but yeah, for now we should be good. So let's just see how things go by going to Postman. Okay, we had this. I actually had set this up before, so I'll do it like this. I'll go to, okay, so now not only is this service available on localhost, it's also available on Groq. Let's actually see what it is in the env. And you'll see, okay, it's localhost. That's fine. I think we'll just use that maybe. I mean, we can use something like Groq.test or something like that. But yeah, I think we should be good. We should be good with localhost. So what we'll do is I normally use for all the, because I use Sail a lot. So I have API/chat, and I'll select from the environment. I'll select Docker, which actually has. Let me just make sure. Which actually has localhost set up, and it also has Sanctum set up, but we won't be using Sanctum for now because we haven't added the middleware, but we are going to in time. Probably it's going to be. I mean, if we add any more routes, then we are probably going to introduce a group that's going to use Sanctum as such. All right, so we need to go to headers, and accept application JSON is already there. And if we go to the body, so from a previous example, we have this question: explain the importance of low latency LLMs in chatbots. And we'll just send this post request, and voila. So you get an instant reply in the shape of an object, of a JSON object, and it has this key answer, and you have the whole answer here. So I think this is a lot cheaper. This is a lot quicker than working with Chat GPT, and this is really a very decent option that you can set up pretty quickly just with an API key without a lot of configuration and stuff. So I'm sorry, I've been trying to leverage the time that we had at hand to kind of go left and right to kind of try and do stuff while something else is happening. But I hope I've made sense. If I haven't, feel free to watch the video again and tell me in the comments if there is something that you think can be improved, or if there is something that we can actually if you have any questions for that matter. And I think in part 2 I'll be doing a Vue.js front end. I'll see when I can find time, but I'll try my level best to do version 2 with a Vue.js front end, and try to build an app where we can actually use this API, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. So I have actually already posted this to GitHub, so I'll just share the link with you now. Okay, I'll put the link in the description. It's basically Laravel Groq. So this is kind of like an example implementation that it has everything that you've just seen, and so I'll include the link in the description, so you can go here and you can also see all the code that I did in this video. And please feel free to kind of ask any questions, reach out to me, and let me know if you want to see something else being done in a similar fashion. Thank you.